Hello and welcome to Montecito After Sunset. You are entering a world of deception. I am Christy. Welcome. If you found us here, it's probably because you love soap operas or audiobooks, podcasts. You are in the right place. Montecito is a brand new audio soap opera that you are going to love. And if you haven't listened to episode 1 yet, go on over and listen to that because we are going behind the scenes of the premiere episode with executive story editor Andrew Pemberton Fowler and creator and executive producer of Montecito, Grant Rudder. I want to take a moment and praise the both of you, congratulate you on creating what is truly revolutionary, a whole new way to entertain people. It is really clear why this is creating so much buzz. The characters are unforgettable. The drama is explosive. And I am just so excited to get a little bit more scoop of what was all going down behind the scenes. When you first started telling me, Grant, about this project that you were doing, I was a little confused. I thought, how are we going to tell a story with no video? But then I had a little preview at the first episode. And within the first, I think 5-10 seconds, you are immersed in the story. You are right there on location with the stars. And it just thrusts you into this world of Montecito. Immediately, I'm hopping on the elevator. How did you do that? How did you thrust me into this world so expertly?
Creating an immersive environment was obviously A1 for us. We didn't want to lose anyone with where am I as who's entering the room. Like it was very important that we really build it out without overdoing it, but that there were little cues and things to let people know, like there's elevator sounds and there's some footsteps, and it was really important to make sure that we didn't lose anyone, but also that the production value was elevated where, because yes, there's a connotation of what is this? Is it just people talking into a microphone? But if people can read a book or listen to an audiobook and imagine and enjoy through those two mediums, they can connect with Montecito.
Absolutely. And you've done such a great job of that. What I really want to know is what kind of direction did you give to the cast? This is an awesome A-list cast. You have a lot of Emmy winners here, people who are huge names in the world of daytime. What did you say to them to get these incredible performances out of them?
I think one thing that we worked on before we had the cast was how do we want to structure character? So we had a lot of, everything was built into the script. So footsteps approaching, sound effects, intonation, how we wanted lines read and how we thought the characters would behave. So by the time we got to production and the cast had those scripts, they just ran to the moon. So it really was something where, because we did so much work on the back end, getting them to these wonderful performances was almost effortless. But Grant did a wonderful job directing them during the sessions.
It was an interesting experience to get back, put my director's hat back on after a while. This is my background and I enjoyed it so much, but it had been a minute since I really had directed talent in the acting world. I direct a lot of voice talent, but as far as scene work goes, it was really like re-strengthening a muscle that you hadn't used in a while. Really enjoyed that. I will add to Andrew's earlier answer that none of these characters were written for a specific actor. We did a lot of work on character development and making sure that these were well-rounded people. No one was perfect. Deacon has different quotes that he says in his scenes, and we tried to really add little characteristics that can differentiate the characters. And then it was about finding the right match with talent. Daytime TV is just full of incredible actors. I never once did I stray out of that mindset of wanting to capitalize on these very talented actors and their audiences that are so loyal and just so hungry for content.
Yeah, and now we're in I would almost say a renaissance with Beyond the Gates. Now we have Montecito. There are other shows that are firing on all cylinders. So it's really an interesting time for Montecito to debut. And one little behind the scenes tidbit, those quotes for Deacon came out of nowhere. I was sitting there writing the dialogue for episode 1, and I was like, he quotes dead people. I mean, that was like Seneca, Shakespeare. It just seemed to fit his morose attitude when he's talking to Helena during the party scene. And it really just started with me. He's talking to her and he says, tomorrow and tomorrow, because just thinking about another project, another hotel, another opening party, when does it end? And then I just threw them all into the script. I think one or two had to get cut, but in throughout the season. But yeah, we tried to get as much in there. And then there's a little surprise with the quotes. I won't give it away. It's later in the series. It was a lot of fun to write and also to find character, because you start with this. Grant came to me. He had his long story where he wanted to go in the season. So we had to break it down into episodes. So we had to break that down into 10 outlines. And then from those 10 outlines, you have to write 10 scripts. So it was a really interesting journey just to see his initial idea, his initial story through what everyone is hearing now. So it's been a wild ride for us.
I can only imagine. It sounds like an incredible amount of work, but was totally worth it. And let's talk a little bit about the women in Deacon's life, who he's talking to with all of these quote, Helena and Mina. Holy moly, I am so into this dynamic between the two of them. It's like they're both blaming each other for Deacon being a hot mess. And they're both terrible people, but also I don't dislike either one of them. There must have been a lot of thought put into what the dynamic would be between these two women.
So I love writing arguments because it's just something, I guess I grew up in an argumentative household. I love like the little jabs, but also like when someone's standing in one position so strongly and the other is so not going to move. And these are two women that represent very strong viewpoints and see nothing the same. And you have a protective mother, and then you have a narcissist who basically is living on top, and she's not going to be knocked down. So they're writing for a narcissist is enjoyable. And it's like an embarrassment of riches, because a narcissist reacts different in all situations and with all different types of people and family dynamics. Andrew and I did a ton of research to write a true narcissist.
And the thing about Mina, and I'll get to Helena, but the thing about Mina is that since nothing is ever her fault, you just really can play with the beats and the moment. Everything she says, every moment where she's reacting to what someone's saying to her. So you're always turning her. She's never staying still, even though the character's in a scene with Helena, with Deacon, with JJ. But that character, it's like a spin top. She's always moving. It's always changing. But with Helena, we have Crystal Chappelle playing her, and she just added so much depth and gravitas to that role. She's very steady. She's a rock for Deacon, for the show, actually. She's probably the only sane character we have.
We don't want to hear about sane people anyway.
She's the most grounded.
Whatever.
These are characters that have lived in my head for over a decade. So these are people like I feel like more than some people in my own family. I've spent so much time thinking about them and how they would react to things and what their life is and how they feel about things. And it's just to Andrew's point of hearing someone like Crystal and the other actors read this dialogue. These are now like voices. It's cliche to say they've come to life, but it's really like now it's real. Now there's something actually here other than what's here and what's on the Google Doc.
And I think one reason why we were able to give them these interior lives and why they seem to just be alive the minute we meet them is because when I was talking to Grant, I said, we need to start this story from what happened yesterday, because these people are having a life. What did they do up until the moment we meet them? So when the elevator opens, we're stepping into real life. It's like you walk into someone's home and they're already having dinner. They're talking to each other.
That makes so much sense after hearing the first couple episodes, because I felt like just a few minutes in, like I already knew everything about these people. And I was so invested in their lives. And I know you both personally, and I can't help but think that you're so good at this because I know you both grew up watching and loving soap operas. So are we going to see any of those classic soap opera tropes?
Even though it is a audio first medium, there are still plenty of tropes in the story and dramatic moments and music. It builds to things. What can I say? There's a level of bitchiness that is fully maintained. So yes, soap tropes throughout, but measured. This is not a comedy. I like to think these scripts are quite balanced and there's some really soft and very tender moments, relationships, and then there are just some catty back and forth sniping that I live for in soaps. So I like to think that we're giving the audience a nice balance that Andrew and I grew up watching the soaps that we watched. So let's hope that the listener feels the same.
And I will
Well-
say one thing, sorry, Christy, that we always kept in mind with all of these scenes and all of these characters, no matter if it's high drama or it's a quiet moment, they all have hopes and dreams and wishes, and they all want something. So I think sometimes Grant and I would talk and we'd not pull ourselves or the story back, but stay grounded in what does this person actually want? What are they hoping for? What are they desiring? Even if someone's being histrionic, but why are they acting that way? If you can answer that, even if the audience doesn't know, but if you can relate that to an actor, and then it just gives it a little more realness in a soap opera.
Oh yeah, like even Gio's entrance just felt very like classic soap opera. Like I was watching Days of Our Lives or something that has been around and been being loved for decades. And I think fans can really appreciate that because it's what they expect a little bit.
Yeah, I want to talk about that moment with Gio's entrance because I was heavily involved in the sound design. I played with a little bit of reverb and flattening out the background music and really punching in on this moment from Mina's perspective, where she's throwing shade at Helena and she looks up and she sees someone and it's like a double take. And that is a huge game-changing moment for her that will have a ripple effect through the end of episode 10. So that had to be a moment to grab the listener's attention. This entrance means something.
And there's so much chaos in episode 1, but it all happens in one place. It goes down in real time. It's like the episode is just under 20 minutes and it feels like we go for about 20 minutes of these people's lives. So what is next for Gio and Deacon? And what does that all mean for Mina? Tease me for episode 2, guys.
We pick up where we left off, and I think we're going on a little journey. We're not staying at the hotel. That's all I'll say, but there will be payoff, so no one will be disappointed. And
Well,
I'm
I
in the
don't
soap
doubt
opera
that.
message board, so I'll find out if you are.
Yeah, no, there's
I
plenty
love
to
that.
come.
Celebrities never admit that they read the Reddit.
Yeah. No, there's plenty to come with those two. It's a journey and it's going to be a full story arc throughout these 10 episodes. We really took this kind of super couple, I guess you could say, a leading kind of relationship romance, and we modernized it with it being a same-sex couple. And one of these men are married to a woman. How does that happen in 2025? So there's a lot to unpack. Get ready. Yeah.
I know I am so ready, but I feel like now I have a little bit better understanding of how this all came together and how it became to be so incredibly good. And I want to invite everybody who's watching to submit their questions. We're going to be breaking down every episode of Montecito. You can do that here on YouTube in the comment section, or do not forget to follow us on Facebook. Do that there. Grant, where can everybody follow you and keep up with you at?
You can find me on Instagram. That's the best place, at It's Grant's Rants. Shout out to my old podcast.
Andrew, I'm sure everyone would love to connect with you. How can they do that?
You can find me on Instagram as well at Andrew42083. I'm not a pothead. It's my birthday.
Oh.
And it's too late to change it now.
This was so much fun, and I want to thank you all for joining us on Montecito After Sunset. We'll see you next time.